prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
It was pretty cool to see, and honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny. Because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one. Where the sport of boxing is when a world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician, man.
And you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and, like, I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Fighters are genuinely scared of Manny Pacquiao's comeback. At 46, he still moves with the speed and sharpness of his prime. Sean Porter watched him train and saw his fight with Barrios. He confidently said, "Pacquiao is still him." Despite his age, Manny's explosive footwork, fast hands, and relentless intensity remain intact. Opponents worry that the legendary Pacquiao hasn't faded, and he can still dominate elite competition.
What do you think about the overall matchup? Everything, man. Watched him train like last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in. He's still him, Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man. The last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who once faced Manny Pacquiao when both were in their prime, offers a unique and highly credible perspective. He believes there's something truly exceptional about Pacquiao that defies the limits of age. While most fighters decline over time, Manny remains a challenge even the younger generation struggles to figure out. Algieri calls him one of the most difficult opponents to prepare for. Unpredictable, lightning fast, explosive, and endlessly relentless. He stresses that Manny's age doesn't matter because his physical gifts and mental toughness are beyond anything a typical training camp can simulate. For Algieri, Pacquiao's return to the ring isn't just a comeback. It's a real threat to anyone who faces him.
Prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
In his bout against Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao stunned fans with just how much of his iconic style remained intact. At 46, many expected a faded legend clinging to past glory, but instead, they witnessed flashes of vintage Pacquiao. Explosive footwork, rapid-fire combinations, and masterful angles. What truly stood out was how close the rounds were. Even those he didn't win on the cards were hotly contested. His timing, stamina, and ring generalship were still sharp. While Barrios was favored due to youth and size, he often found himself reacting rather than leading. Pacquiao wasn't just showing up, he was genuinely competing at an elite level, proving he's far from finished in the sport.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stole them on the judges' cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy, and he put a special performance. I never saw camps on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches, and they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean, and they definitely weren't landing with real power. They really.
Social media star and fighter Salt Poppy weighed in with a bold opinion on a potential rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. He argued that Pacquiao's current form shows he's still sharp, active, and mentally locked in, unlike Mayweather, who's been out of true competition for years. According to Salt Poppy, a rematch today would look nothing like their 2015 fight. Manny's pace, rhythm, and hunger would be too much for Floyd's aging reflexes to handle. While Mayweather has protected his perfect record through exhibitions, Salt Poppy believes Pacquiao's return to serious form makes him far more dangerous and better prepared for a real fight at this stage in their careers.
Have you spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken to him.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
You think he beats Tank, a near prime Tank Davis?
No, we'll see. Styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Manny is still active. So.
Okay.
Pacquiao's performance against Barrios was a powerful reminder of why he's considered a generational talent. Every time Barrios stepped in, Manny fired back with 2 or 3 lightning-quick punches. His energy, output, and footwork sharply contrasted with Barrios' cautious, often reactive approach. What truly stood out was how young Pacquiao still looked in motion, constantly cutting angles, staying active, and creating openings. Fans and analysts alike questioned the official result, noting that Pacquiao's aggression and volume clearly surpassed Barrios' limited counterattacks. It wasn't just that he looked impressive for his age. He genuinely looked like he still belonged at the highest level of the sport.
That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye for Mario Barrios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. And when Barrios was throwing 1, Pacquiao was throwing 3. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny. Because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when a world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao. But 2, just how great he was. 8-division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147. What are we talking about?
Some skeptics have questioned Manny Pacquiao's reasons for returning to the ring, suggesting that financial motivation may be the real driving force. With nothing left to prove as an 8-division world champion and global boxing icon, many feel he could have stayed comfortably retired. His legacy is already cemented, and the risks at his age are significant. Critics argue that the physical demands of the sport only grow more dangerous with time, making a comeback questionable. They believe that unless a massive payday is involved, there's little reason for Pacquiao to risk his health or legacy by stepping back into the ring.
Pacquiao crazy for coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what's brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth extension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That's shiny object syndrome. And you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you gotta fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptom and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You wanna train, you wanna run this other business, you wanna do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control. laser focused. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is easy. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute and go to that playlist.
Pacquiao has repeatedly pushed back against claims that his comeback is driven by money. Known not just for his boxing achievements, but also for his philanthropy, Manny has long used his wealth to uplift others, funding hospitals, supporting disaster relief efforts, and helping countless communities across the Philippines. He frequently reminds the public that he fights for his people, not his pockets. According to Pacquiao, his return is rooted in passion, legacy, and the desire to inspire. He wants to prove that age is just a number when the heart and will are strong. For him, it's about showing that greatness can endure, with the Barrios fight behind him. Talk has now shifted to who Pacquiao might face next.
When I became world champion, I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time, my young brother's 5 years old back then, and he was crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We didn't eat breakfast. We didn't eat lunch. He don't understand what is. When you're telling him no money, we have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying. And I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and it's the tear flow in his eyes, and I feel so sad. And of course, I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water just to survive. That's our past, so that's why I always told him that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there. We came from nothing.
Rolly Romero has emerged as a frontrunner for Pacquiao's next fight, especially after training footage hinted he's already gearing up for the challenge. His team has expressed excitement, and Romero himself said it would be an honor to face a legend like Manny. Meanwhile, Gervonta Davis's name has also surfaced, though promotional hurdles and timing make that bout far less certain for now.
Boxing Doctor News, Manny Pacquiao's next potential opponent is Rolly Romero, the WBA welterweight champ. Romero is under the same promotion, has the belt, and can sell a fight. He's eager to face Pacquiao, saying, "A Hall of Famer on my resume." Who wouldn't want that? After Pacquiao's draw with Barrios, his advisor sees Romero as the favorite for Manny's next bout. Romero has knockout power and isn't afraid to bring the heat. Is this the explosive matchup fans have been waiting for?
Some fans still call for a rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, convinced Floyd would win again. But what many overlook is that Mayweather is not only older than Pacquiao, he's also been far less active. He hasn't faced serious competition in years, opting instead for low-risk, high-reward exhibition bouts. A fight now wouldn't resemble their 2015 clash. Back then, Pacquiao was recovering from a shoulder injury and lacked rhythm. Today, he's sharper, faster, and more motivated than ever. With nothing to lose and everything to prove, Pacquiao poses a far greater threat. It's a matchup Mayweather would likely avoid, knowing the risk no longer favors him as it once did.
We will see what transpires, but all these people out here saying that the fight was fixed, a lot of these people were not fans of Manny Pacquiao. When that whole Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao situation was going on with the steroids allegation, the needles, and back and forth between the Pactars, as they call them back in the day, and the Mayweather fans. A lot of those fans still hold grudges towards Manny Pacquiao. I guarantee you, if that was Mayweather, ever fight Mario Barrios coming into that fight after a long layoff, all the people would say Mayweather had a chance, Mayweather going to win, become champion once again. Mayweather levels above Mario Barrios even at that age. And Mayweather's actually older than Pacquiao. Those same people wasn't giving Pacquiao no chance to defeat an average fighter in Mario Barrios. That's what I base my pick on. That Mario Barrios is average. Some people that's Tank Davis fans, they want to blow up Mario Barrios into something that he really ain't. Because really before the Tank fight, we're talking about Mario Barrios right now. Before the Tank fight, he took on a guy by the name of Ahmad Ali, and he lost that fight. And he took a beating from that fight. And Mario Barrios really ain't never been the same from that fight. Go back and watch that fight. That was the fight before the Tank fight. Now, a lot of people say, well, he was looking good in the Tank fight. He was winning early in the Tank fight. That was the fact of Tank going up in weight, fighting a much bigger guy on fight night. Look at the difference in size. Not only just looking at the height, but he was just a much bigger guy.
Respected boxing analysts widely agree that Manny Pacquiao did more than enough to earn a win against Mario Barrios. Throughout the fight, Pacquiao was the clear aggressor, setting the pace, initiating exchanges, and keeping the action alive. In contrast, Barrios often looked passive, frequently circling or standing still with minimal offensive output. Experts who reviewed the bout frame by frame highlighted several rounds they felt were wrongly awarded to Barrios despite his inactivity. Pacquiao's superior ring generalship, volume punching, and command of the tempo told a different story than what the judges scored. For many analysts, Pacquiao's comeback wasn't just impressive. It was worthy of a victory.
With the draw. Because, like,
weird rounds, hard to score.
Pacquiao did better than I thought he did. And that's like, we get into that weird territory in boxing where you're so grading on a curve. That's not how boxing works. And I was like, oh, Pacquiao's doing better. He's probably winning. Oh, he won. But no, he probably didn't. And a draw is probably lucky to get a draw.
Yeah, as I was watching it and scoring it, and I was in the live chat with people, and there was just so many rabid Pacquiao fans that were like, every time he did anything, first of all, anytime he did anything in the arena, the place went absolutely bonkers, like it was going to tear down. He, honestly, he probably fought 50 to 60 seconds a round. He did not do much. He didn't need to, because Barrios didn't step on the gas pedal at all, at any point. He was so listless and just kind of like ho-humming through it. So Pacquiao was able to steal moments, and he did a really good job of stealing the end of rounds and making an exclamation point. And also, we saw flashes of the Manny of old when he would have that little like a flourishing signature at the end of something. He'd make that little movement, bang, he'd pop that left hand, he'd fly out, boom, 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 boom. He'd make those little moves, he'd do the fancy feet, and you would be like, ah, but really nothing happened. He didn't land a lot of punches. Like, it wasn't like anything really effective. But it got everybody emotional, it got everybody, and whereas Barrios was the exact opposite. Everything he did was so workmanlike. He has zero charisma. He has no sell on anything he does. He just lacked passion. I know he has Tech Warrior, but where was the passion? Where was the exchanging? Where was the biting down on my mouthpiece and going for it? So there was a lot of opportunities based on how both guys fought for Manny to actually steal rounds, because Mario wasn't selling it. Pacquiao was. The crowd was behind him. But yes, when you do it, you're looking at it almost like you're almost comparing Pacquiao to Pacquiao. You're being like, oh, he fought really good for a 46-year-old. He didn't fight really good for a 12-round main event, champion. He fought really good for a 46-year-old Pacquiao. So you get that idea in your head, like, oh man, he's doing so good, but is he really? Or are you just voting for the guy that you like better?
Like, nostalgia is a hell of a, and we were all live on Saturday night.
What stood out most to fans and critics alike was a conviction Pacquiao brought into the ring. There was no hesitation, no sign of uncertainty, only a deep belief in his ability. He moved with purpose, threw punches with authority, and controlled distance like the elite technician he's always been. At no moment did he seem like a fighter chasing past glory. Instead, he fought like a man still chasing greatness, determined to prove he belonged. Sadly, that determination wasn't fully reflected in the judges' scorecards. While Pacquiao earned the crowd's admiration and respect, the official verdict failed to acknowledge what was clearly a bold and competitive comeback.
The most surprising result from last night was 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao going 12 rounds and drawing against the WBC champion. And the craziest part of all of it might be that Manny Pacquiao might have been robbed. I generally think that Manny Pacquiao might have won the fight. He looked great, he looked sharp, especially for being a 46-year-old. And this is why I told you guys that Manny Pacquiao's mentality is different. His passion for boxing is unmatched. This is why he's one of the GOATs. From what we saw, we can see that he really put in a lot of work, because in his last fight, I believe it was 5 years ago, he didn't look good. He looked slow. He looked like a 46-year-old, or a 40-year-old, because he was 40 years old back then. But he didn't look good, but he looked great. I feel if the rematch happens against Mayweather, which would honestly be an amazing fight, because they're both old now, so they don't have any excuse of being like, oh, this guy's past his prime. They're both past their prime. They're both old. But if it happens, I think Manny Pacquiao wins. Floyd Mayweather hasn't fought, and he doesn't have the same amount of passion. He fought Logan Paul and Deji, but this guy fought an actual WBC champion and looked great and could have possibly beat him. He said he's not going to stop boxing, and he honestly has no reason why to stop. Now, obviously, I don't think he's like a top 10 boxer right now, like currently, whatever, but he can hold his own. If he went against someone like Gervonta Davis, he has to get murdered, but there's a lot of fighters that he can go toe-to-toe with right now. I don't know, Fall Sport content, we're about to hit 1,000.
That's all for now. Stay tuned for more soon.